Yo, 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 and the merry ho ho, whatever. I don't know what else to say. But I'm back, and we are back for another spoiler. I could say this is my return to spoilers, but I posted last week's spoilers. So I don't know what to say. Hi. It's been a little while. I mean, with One Piece going on its hiatus and everything, as far as the anime, and then when the manga went on break, I decided to take a break myself. I wanted to work on my review content. I do have a lot of reviews that's coming out. I think currently the one that's out is my one on Buchiguri. You should see it right here. Click that video right here if you haven't seen it, or go there, like it, come back to it after this video. It's been a lot that we could talk about. I could use this whole freaking video just catching up on everything we've missed and everything I've thought, but you guys know I like to say my predictions or whatever, my theories, in the middle of what's going on. So I'm only going to touch on a little bit on the last chapter, and then we're gonna go straight forward on the spoilers of this chapter. And y'all already know we gotta give thanks to the one and only Pew Piece for always giving those spoilers at the right time. Um, I don't know what we could do without you, Pew Piece. Alrighty. First, we're gonna go over the last chapter to skim over a little bit, and then we're gonna go straight into the spoilers of this one. If you have not liked or subscribed or any of that good mess right now, what the heck are you doing? You are wasting your time. This is what you should be doing. All right? I'm pretty sure you guys watched some other One Piece spoilers of the day, but it's a reason why you're here. Or if I'm your first and only guy that you only do it to, I'm sorry I've been gone, but I'm back. So let's get into it. But before we do that, I want to clarify something or ask a question like I usually do that came from chapter 1137. While Rogue was escorting the. Well, before that, I want to get. There's a question I have for you guys that extends from 1137. See, when Rogue or Road, whatever his name is, was leading the Straw Hats through the castle, he let them know that it's been 14 years since King Harold's death. But I'm pretty sure that Loki, the person who's been accused of killing Harold, was locked up 6 years ago. So does this mean that we were getting it wrong and the death of Harold was 14 years ago? Thus, well, it wouldn't make sense, right? Because I think 14 years ago, Shanks probably was just starting his pirate crew, if anything, or still on Roger's crew, kinda. No, because Roger died 22 years ago, so Shanks was kind of still doing his pirate thing. But it's weird though because it says six years ago. I think it was 6 years ago when Shanks became a Yonko, and they're saying that his feat of getting Yonko was defeating Loki, which makes sense. But someone told me that they think it's because he defeated the former Yonko, which is Loki. All right, I would say I don't. The only reason why I don't agree that Loki was a Yonko back then is because Loki hasn't had any proof that he's had a great fleet or a great pirate crew. Because we know the things that you have to be to become a Yonko is you have to have influence, you have to have territory, and you have to have a lot of power. Um, I'm pretty sure Loki probably does have the power. Influence, no, if his own kingdom doesn't really mess with him and wanted him arrested and stuff like that. And I don't think he had much of a crew. I don't even think that he was actually a pirate. You feel me? But maybe not. We don't know. He maybe got this bounty between those 6 years that he was gone. We don't know. So that's just my thing. What do y'all think about Loki's past is going to be before we enter that Was Loki a pirate? And if he was a pirate, was he a Yonko? Y'all let me know in the comments. Alright, okay, alright. It's not like I'm going to try to maneuver around it, alright? I was going to get to it. Another big reveal in chapter 1137 is that this mysterious person that's with Gunko was revealed as the new commander of the Holy Knights, World Noble for Garland Shamrock, son of Saint Garland of the Five Elders. Okay, everyone like, oh, yeah, now we got someone who you can say that was part of your whole theory is of Shanks being a snitch, but it's not Shanks, it's this guy. Da 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 da. Admit that you're wrong. Da 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 da. Shanks is a good guy. Da 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 da. We love Shanks even though he don't do shit. Look, I'm not admitting a shit, okay? Yes, is there a new roadblock in front of the way that might take the blame a little bit off of Shanks? But is Shanks cleared? Fuck no, he's not. They have not cleared off or made confirmation on who was in that room. The man didn't come out and say, I'm for Garland Shanks. I'm for Garland. Well, the man didn't come out and say, I'm for Garland Shamrock, and I am the guy who went to the Gorosei in the referee. No. There's plenty of evidence that still, in my opinion, leans over that person that was in chapter 907 talking to the Gorosei about a certain pirate was for Garland Shanks himself, aka Rat Head, Red Hair, whatever you would like to call him. It was still him. I got a video that I'm working on about it right now. Make sure you guys tap on in with that, okay? But don't you worry about your little pretty little heads on that. We will talk about that a little bit more. So let's go ahead and move on and get to our review of chapter 1138. In the cover story, we still continue it with Yamato, where we find out that who is behind this little hideout that they followed from their sword thief. See, the chapter opened up with Loki having the same questions as us and asking Shamrock if he was related to Shanks or if they were whatever, brothers or something, but something had to be answered right then and there, right? So Shamrock answered his question. He said, that pirate is my estranged younger twin brother. He returned to the Holy Land once, but he seemed to prefer the filth of the lower world. Now, the reason why I said we'll get into that earlier is because a lot of people during my argument of me calling Shanks a snitch, saying that I had no proof that Shanks knew where Marijois was, or that the Gorosei was there, or there wasn't any proof that he even knew anything about that. So this or even knew anything about his privilege or anything like that. I state that this line right here confirms all of it. Confirms all three. It confirms that Shanks know who he is and where he comes from. He's been there. And he probably knows that the Goroseis exist and can have access to him. Who knows? Shit. Garland probably introduced him to him. I don't know. We don't know yet, but it proves at least, okay, I'll give you 2 out of 3 of those questions that I gave you. It proves at least 2 out of 3. After confirming who he was, Loki decided to basically make a threat to him, stating that, hey, your whole family just made an enemy out of me, whether it's your brother or you. And I guess Shanks, I keep saying Shanks because he looks just like him freaking. I guess Shamrock, it really pisses him off when someone threatens him. You know, I think he has that authority type of issue as far as his personality. That's someone that he looks as beneath him to even have the balls to even threaten him. So, wait till he meets Luffy. And so we see him start to call upon Cerberus, which we see a 3-headed dog with about 3 swords basically coming out of each mouth. And we see the Cerberus come out of the sword. But the thing is, it's not confirmed as a devil fruit as of yet. So, gives us the questions. Does these holy knights have devil fruits, or are they giving a different source of power in their weapons? Is it given through them by aim? Is it just a source of power that we don't even know yet? Are we getting introduced to a new type of power that summons things in One Piece? I don't know. Because the crazy part is to me about this is that not only was the Cerberus separate from the sword, um, he was able, as in Shamrock, was able to leave, um, and the Cerberus was still able to attack. Usually, when we see like a devil fruit weapon, it doesn't leave the weapon, and you definitely never seen the user of the weapon just get away or leave away from it. So it gives me the question of whether it's really a devil fruit that's to a weapon or not. As they leave, we see the Cerberus thing, which, to be honest, if we swipe up a little bit more to page 9, it kind of looks like it's just the heads of the Cerberus and not a whole Cerberus. So it could just be an attack that he did that's really freaking scary. But they talk about, getting ready to take over Elbaf so they can make Elbaf join the world government. And one of their reasons and one of the things they're talking about doing is by kidnapping the children that's there. So let's see how that happens. And they said they're going to bring in one more person. I wonder who that be. Usually this is the time I get my theory on. The only thing I could think about that it's weird that it's obvious like that we're going to get a new person. But for some reason, some gut feeling, right? The way that they're doing it, it's like they're trying to introduce or bring someone back. I was talking to a friend of mine. He doesn't fucking believe me. He thinks it's a stupid idea, but I'm going to bring it out there anyway, just in case my stupid ideas is a stupid reality. What if it's Enel? A lot of people are expecting for Enel to return. I feel like this would be the best time for it to return, especially with the last page of this chapter, that he would return. Between pages 10 and 11, we could see Luffy approaching the guards that were attacked by Shamrock earlier, and them explaining to Luffy that the guy is Shanks, or they swear that the guy was Shanks. Luffy is saying that maybe it can't be Shanks. Shanks wouldn't do something like this. And for some reason, out of just pure Luffy just knowing this, I don't understand. I'm pretty sure he's been away from this man way longer than he's known this guy. But he swear up and down that it's not Shanks. So they start to assume, yet figure out that Shanks has a brother. Maybe. And as he's talking, he says that I thought Roger and Rayleigh and those guys were family. Roger's pirates aside from Buggy. And as he was stating this, you can see someone walking up to where Luffy is and them are at. And it's, suspected to be Scopper Kaban. The, you could say left hand or right hand. Doesn't matter wherever you put Rayleigh to Roger and his crew. Meanwhile, at the Atom Tree, Ripley is just talking it up with Frankie while handling him as if he was an... Look at this, man. She's holding him like he's an Optimus Prime figure. Within the tree, Frankie sees this big moral, and Ripley confirms that this moral was made centuries and centuries ago. Matter of fact, it was basically made in the Void Century by children. But to be honest, in my opinion, how the fuck does she know that? If you see what I'm saying, how does she know that it was made by children? It could have been actually made by people, that was actually trying to tell us what was going on. And while she was sitting there lying, Saul handed Robin the book Harley. And it seems that this Harley book has brought in a whole bunch of information. And after she deciphered it, it basically explained about 3 worlds. The first world, the second world, which both ended in war. And then you have the third world, which is happening today. After that, we get a great shot of the whole mural with all three worlds explained. Now, some people take it as the mural, it breaks down all three worlds. Some people think that it's just the mural is just depicting the world now. I think a little bit of both. I think that it's mostly in the noun, or it can be conversed to the noun, and also it can be translated or looked at from a bits and pieces of the first and third war. I mean, first and second war. It's obvious that the first war that they're referring to is Nika himself, and then also referring to the birth of devil fruits. The second world is obviously about Joy Boy and his era and what happened during the Void Century. And then finally, this one is obviously about Luffy and everybody, because you can see Luffy. You obviously can see like a Nika slash Luffy. You obviously can see a giant with horns, which can be referenced as a Oars, but since Oars Jr. in the present is like the last or ancient giant that we know that gets killed off, that could be referred as Loki. You got shots of Wano, Kuni in there. You got E-Myth that's right there, but that could be General Frankie. Then we got something that looks like Laboom. We got these aliens that could be Lunarians. We got some minks. We got a dwarf. We have obviously a princess mermaid, which could be looked at as Shirahoshi, aka Poseidon. And then we also have, I think, another mink that you see on the side there. And we also could see what people think is either Eam himself or Blackbeard, which they're holding the sun itself, or it could be the mother flame. It's a lot that you can decipher from this picture. Everybody is turning into a archaeologist in the One Piece, especially the One Piece content creator realm. We are out here scrambling. I hopefully will get to sit down with a whole bunch of like-minded folks or non-like-minded folks that are all One Piece fans and One Piece experts, and sit down and see if we can actually make sense of this mural, okay? Because if it was made by some 5-year-olds, then okay, it's not gonna make sense. But it's Oda, okay? Yo, just quick thoughts on this mural and this whole last page. It to me, it shows how great of a writer Oda really, really is. It shows us just through this little moral that was possibly drawn by children, with going with this passage. It just reminds me that we are getting very, very, very close to the end of One Piece, but we still have so many questions. So even though a lot of things are being answered, we're still getting so much questions. And I still feel like that Oda still is going to find a way to answer all of our questions in this magnificent world he built. Alright guys, now that we got all of that out the way, let's go ahead and look into Chapter 1139 spoilers, titled The Mountain Eater. The cover has Who's Who is going to kill page 1 in Ulti. Don't know why. I really don't know why. It never showed anything yet against them. That's crazy. And I'm surprised that Ulti in page 1 is still on the island. Do we think that, I mean, it could be that King and Queen is still on the island too, because even though Ryoku defeated them, I don't think no one came and picked them up and arrested them. I doubt it, right? What do y'all think? This chapter is going to be short. It's going to be about 13 pages. We finally see the mysterious man appears, and he's Scopper Gaban. Like I said in the earlier video, it was kind of obvious that it was going to be him and that we're going to be bumping into him. I still think Shiki will be showing himself someday. Maybe not in this arc, but I still believe there's a Shiki out there. However, the presentation box says his name is Yasan. It's probably how they say it. I don't know. Just like how some translation says Rufy instead of Luffy because they don't really say L's and stuff. Gabon reveals himself as Ripley's partner. Gabon reveals himself as Ripley's partner. Gabon reveals himself as Ripley's partner and Colin's father, and he says he is the Minister of Love. Shit, you better be if you hitting Ripley, boy. Human out here smacking them giant cheeks. Gabon opens the secret treasure room in the castle where the key for Loki's chain is. Giants explain Usopp and Straw Hat Crew in the party that Scott Gabon lives in Elbaf and he's the left man of the Pirate King and the legendary star equal to Roger and Rayleigh. Basically, he's the Sanji of the crew. He's telling Usopp and them, like, that's what he is. People are going out with this whole, oh, he's the Jinbei of the crew. I'm not gonna lie, yo. I have no problem with Jinbei. Jinbei's a great character. But if y'all fuckers out there are disrespecting Sanji enough that y'all are really trying to be out here and push this agenda as Jinbei being the wing instead of Sanji or replacing for the Sanji, block me now or I'm gonna block you. Because that, I don't know why that pisses me off so much deep down, but it does. It really does. So, stop. And this ends with Gabon saying that if Luffy wants the key, he would have to fight for it. So, it looks like we might see some Scopper Gabon versus Zoro or Luffy or both. We don't know. Let's see if he can handle it. Gear 5 versus Gabon. Let's see. Well, that's all we have for right now. I might come back to go over the real scans whenever the official scans come out. Until then, I'm out to the analyst. You guys stay great, man. And thank you for sticking with me all this way. I promise I'm going to do more effort for 2024, 2025. And bon voyage.